A very good morning. You're joining us here on a brand new episode of Melt with me, Ritvika Gupta. And on the show today, we'll be speaking to Vaishali Banerjee. She's the Managing Director at Platinum Guild India. Anant Rangaswami, editor of Melt, joins me today. Hi, Anant.
Hello.
Anant, so Platinum Guild India is launching a new campaign focused on men's jewelry. So based on your conversation with Vaishali, what is the key to selling men's jewelry?
I think as you'll realize during the conversation, it begins with what is the key to the consumer wanting to buy platinum and having platinum in the consideration set when it comes to jewelry.
Right.
You know, historically, India has been a gold country and, silver is not really thought of as jewelry. So it's a gold country. How do you get people to move away from gold and even consider platinum? That's been the challenge for Platinum Guild India from the time they came to India. And then, after getting them into the consideration set, how do you get them to buy platinum as opposed to gold?
Right.
That's the challenge, and that's what she's trying to do. And they've been nudging this for almost 2 decades now, getting people first to think of platinum and then getting them to find reasons to buy platinum jewelry. Right. So we are seeing a sort of evolution of the marketing of platinum as a jewelry metal and a jewelry option. So that's what we get to see in this campaign.
All right, so let's dive into the conversation. Let's get ready to melt with Vaishali Banerjee.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Vaishali. So, I'm following all that you have done from the time PGI started, and it reminds me of the challenges that somebody in the 50s would have had in marketing and launching toothpaste. So how different is it?
Well, let's say what are the similarities? It's
Right.
about creating a new category.
Right.
The difference is, in I think the usage, because if you look at toothpaste, it's something that you use every day, and it's something that you buy every month. It's the outlay is much less than a piece of jewelry. A piece of jewelry is all about meaning, it's about memories, it's about emotions, it's about a lot of money, it could be about investment, it could be about anything. Right. So in that sense, they're very different categories.
Therefore, you're
the involvement that is required is a lot more in jewelry. And so it's tougher. I would say it's more exciting. Yeah, I found it more exciting, challenging and exciting.
Sure, but to begin with, let's say, as a consumer, I say gold is safe. I buy my girlfriend or wife gold, and I say that is safe. It'll depreciate. Now we have 40,000 rupees or whatever it is, and you say that's safe. Now in platinum, you had to fight gold, you had to fight precious stones, you had to fight silver perhaps. So tell me, what are those challenges?
So, okay, let me just rewind and say that yes, gold is safe. It's a safe haven. It's an asset. But in a way, we're very lucky in India because the consumer loves jewelry.
Right.
Right? And there are many, many reasons you buy jewelry. Safety, asset, wealth creation is one part of it. Maybe tradition, religion, auspiciousness, that's one part of it again. And then there are all these other reasons that you buy jewelry, which is about meaning, which is about emotions, it's about feeling good, it's about love. There are so many other reasons you buy jewelry. It's self-expression. So, there is a lot of space. It is really about seeing where platinum would sit. So, the challenge, I would say the opportunity first. The opportunity that India presented was this addiction, I would say, to jewelry.
Right. So tell me,
Yeah?
from the time your first campaign all the way to today, and we'll show our viewers your current campaign, what causes you to find the issues that you want to discuss? For example, here, the current campaign, we see jewelry and we see men fundamentally, or we see men of substance almost. So what causes you to find it? What is it? Insight-led? What kind of research do you going to understand?
So right from the beginning, I'll come to men's because that's our latest category creation.
Take me from the start.
Yes, I'll take you from the start. So I'll take you from the start for Platinum per se.
Right.
So it was very important for us, and I think this goes for anybody who's looking at creating a new category, is to first look at where do you want to play. So it was very important for us to say, which is this audience? Jewelry is worn by everybody.
Right.
We focused on the younger, the more urban, educated, younger, slightly more affluent target audience.
Male and female.
Men and women, yes, men and women. And this was our tribe. Okay, so we looked at them and we said, what can we do with them? Where can we place platinum in their lives so that it becomes significant? And I would say, before we talk about campaigns, is that it's very important from a category perspective or a brand perspective to say where you will play, and equally important, where you will not play.
Right.
So you will have to, we looked at what was the dominant area for gold.
So
What would
I'm going to
be-
interrupt here. You
Yeah.
said we looked at. I want to understand the tools you used. For example, it's not that Vaishali went for a walk in the morning and said,
No,
this
not
is
at
where we
all.
will play. So what are the various research tools or
So you
inputs you used?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
you look at both qualitative and quantitative research. Right at the beginning, you look at, but on the basis of, first you do a market understanding of where jewelry plays currently
Right.
in the consumer's lives. And we looked at different age groups in which, originally it was across different age groups to really understand the role that jewelry plays in the consumer's life.
Right.
To really, for us to know what are the dominant positions for gold and what are positions that gold has because it is the default metal. So in India, silver doesn't really play in this area. Silver
Sure.
is not really seen in the same space as gold, but it was
I
gold
agree.
and precious stones honestly is not a problem because it needs to be set in a particular metal. But it was more about what is the role of jewelry. And that in those years, back when, whatever, 20 years back, it was gold and jewelry were synonymous. When people would say, we're going to buy gold when they want to buy jewelry. People
Right.
would say,
And
we
the
want to
reverse.
buy jewelry when they want to buy gold. So it was synonymous, right? So it was really to understand for ourselves, what are the spaces that gold holds dominantly and by default. And then equally important to look at platinum to say what are the spaces platinum can hold. See, as a metal, it's very precious. It's right up there. So we had to also redefine the benchmark of preciousness because preciousness benchmark was set by gold. Here comes platinum. It was initially seen as this international metal. It didn't even have, it doesn't have a name,
Correct.
in any Indian language. So it's this English word. What does it mean? But the metal itself is of highest value. It's a very rare metal. So by the nature and intrinsic qualities that platinum had, it could occupy spaces. Now, while it is got a 3 billion year history, in India it was more contemporary and new. So it was very important for us to say, if it is seen as contemporary and new, it is of the highest quality. What do our consumers want? For PGI, we have always led from the consumer and we always continue to do that. And I would say that's absolutely critical if you want to create a new category. It's consumer front and center because you need to understand what is this consumer, who is this consumer, why would they consume jewelry today, how are they consuming it, what could they in the future, what role could jewelry play in the future. And therefore, to come back to the tools that we used a lot of research. We still do. So we use qualitative research. We do research for our insights because all our brands are based on consumer truths and insights. We then look at quantitative to measure. It's more quantitative is more about a measurement tool. We do brand tracks, which is again quantitative to see, are we moving the needle? Because if you're changing consumer behavior, you have to take a long-term perspective. So are we moving the needle? That's very, very critical, even for a niche player like Platinum, to do a track almost every year to say what are the needle that we are moving, what needs to be moved, what changes. We are talking to a young audience, as I said. The change and the evolution is really fast. You've got to get there ahead of that consumer and almost lead the consumer to a space.
I mean, today you're a little ahead of the curve, I would think, if
Yes,
you say men's jewelry.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
why have you ended up with jewelry focused on men in your current campaign?
So if you look at it, we looked at men actually when in 2009 when we did Platinum Days of Love. So what we looked at was across all our brands, we look at emerging discourse. So yes, we stay ahead of the curve. We look at the emerging discourse, which is all about this value set that defines the narrative across our brands. So Platinum Day of Love was an exchange of rings. It was a new ritual. It was not about the man giving the woman a ring and doing all of that. And it was not about that. This was a new take on love. This was a new take on partnership, of what a young couple wants in their relationship, which is more about mutuality, respect. It is about, it is about knowing each other and giving each other space and believing. It's a partnership of dreams,
right,
of mutual dreams, right? So the whole ritual was one of mutuality, the ring exchange. So we actually brought in men to Platinum way back in 2009. And so the couple, that was our first Platinum Days of Love, was the love bands. We even branded the entire collection of rings. They were no longer rings because they were love bands, because it was a promise to each other of particular kind of love that you share. And we saw that the values of that love, if you look at it, it is not, we challenged the status quo on love at that stage. So it was not about compromise, sacrifice, hierarchy. It was about, as I said, mutuality, respect, friendship, the space to be yourself, the belief in each other and belief in really realizing your dreams together, greater together.
Now take me to today's campaign.
We saw that love. We saw, now what are those values that we looked at, right? So if those values hold good in love, there are certain values that lead us in our lives. Today, if we look at men, it's a large category, lots of brands are talking to men, but we have seen that there are a lot of changes that are happening. There are social changes where the role of men have been redefined or being redefined.
And of women.
And of women. Sure. And women, the role of women being redefined has an impact on the role of the man. So if you look at gender equality, if you look at diversity in the workplace, so stereotypical roles of men being the provider, of being the, earner, of being the dominant person, in those things are being challenged. And they should.
So tell me, in your campaign, the two films that I've seen and which my viewers will see, there's hardly any platinum in the film except when it comes to the kind of the back shot. I mean, there's a subtle wearing of the jewelry, while the gold category is full of gold. I mean, the whole commercial is gold, really. So tell me, what gives you the courage to say, that's enough for me?
Because platinum stands for these values.
Nope.
So if you look at it, why? What is this? What the work that you saw? What are we saying? We are saying today there is a tribe of men who are defined by their character. This character is defined by the values of inclusiveness that you have seen, the value of courage to stay true to your beliefs and convictions, the values of doing good, greater good for the society, the value of taking people along with you, of honesty and integrity, but staying true to yourself, believing in what you are and who you are. Now, these are values which we believe define the character of this tribe of men. And jewelry that has these values are for men such
So
as
tell me,
this.
before you sell to the consumer, the first thing you have to do is to sell to dealers and distributors.
Yes,
That's a
absolutely.
huge challenge in your category.
Absolutely.
Especially when you
Yeah.
trying to launch something new, different, path breaking. So tell me how you go about selling this campaign and this product. It's almost a subcategory to the trade.
So there are two parts of it. First, see, from a business point of view, you have to make sure that this category has teeth. Also, that this is a category that will deliver ROI over a period of time. From a business perspective, it's important for us, it is important for the industry. Therefore, you test. Once you identify the opportunity, you test it out. So you pilot it.
Just expand on test. So what is it?
So
What does that
pilot
mean?
it.
So
what did we do? We looked at this opportunity a couple of years back actually, and we then framed a program. We enlisted key retail groups. We developed jewelry for men. We enlisted key retail groups. We partnered with them to test it real time with consumers across geographies in India.
Right.
So that we would know whether there's a regional bias, what is the kind of product that sells, what are the weights, what is the price point, all that comes together because it's not only about a campaign, right? So we tested this for over 2 years. So today what you're seeing is really scaling up of that opportunity. So how did we present it to the industry? Nothing works as good as having a successful case study.
Right. So,
and it's a successful business case study.
right. So what is the, humor me, what is the literal process? Do you get 100 dealers into a room and tell them this is what
For
we've
the
done,
launch, yes.
This is what we plan? Is
For
it
the-
a closed door thing that you explain to them what is happening?
So when we did the testing or piloting, as we call it, when we put it out in real, because see, this is this. I'll go back to your question about toothpaste. When it's a new category creation, you have to test it live because it's a concept. So nothing gives you better learning than in market. And yes, in that space, we worked with a few partners because you have to do everything. So there is an investment that goes in, both in creating the product, putting it out there, marketing it, testing it across geographies, and looking at the merchandise mix, all of it, right? So there is an investment. So that was only with certain key partners. When we launched it to the larger industry, we had 100 top
Right.
retailers in the room. We had all our manufacturing partners. We took them through the research that we had done. We took them through the insights on which this category is going to be based. We took them through the results of our marketing pilot for 2 years, and then we launched the entire program, which also includes different kinds of jewelry for men of platinum.
Right. So the final question, you've just emphasized that for you it's very important to do brand tracking, do
Yes,
pre-post.
yes.
So how will you know that you have succeeded with this position, with this subcategory or whatever you may call it, and when will you start measuring that?
So we've already done a pre
Right.
last year. So we look at it in two ways. One is from the consumer end, how are we moving behaviors, and one is at a market end on whether the product is selling.
Right.
Both are important to demonstrate success. So whether the product is selling is real time.
Right.
So we get learnings right away as soon as the
you get checks.
jewelry.
You get checks
Absolutely,
right
checks
away.
and measures. You adjust. You see what's moving, what's not. Are regional biases coming in? This is real time dynamic learning and adjusting.
Right.
On the consumer front, we've already done a pre last year to see where are they on online equity measures. We're going to be doing one next year and next year and next year. So we take a long-term perspective always, because to create a category such as platinum in a very, very established jewelry category, it's one of the most established categories globally in India, you have to take a long-term perspective. We take a 3 to 5 year perspective in every category, and then we set measures. So have we moved the needle every year? And there are milestones that you set. So there'll be an annual milestone, and there's a 3-year target. And we will check it annually to see, are we moving the needle on behaviors and equity.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And let's talk to you again next year and see what's happened with,
I would love that.
with the entire new category.
Hopefully I'll be able to share some excellent news.
Results. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And well, that was the conversation. Anand, what do you think marketers need to keep in mind after watching this episode?
So the most important thing, which is one of the reasons we're talking to her, is it's an extraordinary effort at habit change. And you can compare it with a whole lot of categories. For example, let's say Kellogg's, when they came to India, they had to change the breakfast eating habits of a country. That was their challenge. You can go back before that and say, the Colgate had to get people to learn how to brush their teeth and the need to brush their teeth with a brush and paste as opposed to with a neem stick. So this is a complicated habit change, and I think anybody in any business where habit change is required has a lot to learn from what Platinum Guild India has done in India.
All right, on that note, it's a wrap on this episode of Melt. You can also watch all our content on our social media platforms. Our handle is Ready to Melt, and I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Goodbye.